Define your A-player profile. I have a client of mine out in the West Coast who, in the kitchen and bath industry, I'll use a couple kitchen and bath industry examples in this talk. Great guy, great business guy, great business. He created a new position. And by the way, if you are thinking about or in the midst of creating a new role, just be very careful. I mean, you have to do it, but creating new positions is one of the primary places where big hiring mistakes happen because we don't really know what we're looking for. Right? I mean, we think we do. We sat around a conference room and talked about it, and we talked to somebody, the Virginia Council of CEOs, who has a position that's kind of commensurate, but we don't really know what we need. We haven't hired 9 of these people. It's easy to make a mistake. Jim made not 1 mistake, not 2 mistakes, but 3 mistakes in 2 years. Created a new showroom sales manager role, and then hired and fired 3 people. Then he called me. He said, listen, on number 4, I think I need a little help. I said, fair enough. So we put an A-player profile in place for this role. You know what he had done? He had fallen into the trap that we are all in because what is one of maybe the greatest principles of life in the United States in 2011? People are busy. And you guys are incredibly busy. So he's just running a million miles a minute. He's got a new role that he's creating and he's hiring for, and it has the word sales in it. And he has a brainstem reaction, and he says, sales is equal to hunter. That's what I need. I need a hunter. I mean, I need a guy that you could, like a Navy SEAL, you could load into a plane, you fly him over enemy lines, you kick him out the door at 25,000 feet. 6 months later, he makes it back to camp, and he's been foraging off the land. That's my guy. That's who he hired. He hired 3 of them. Only problem was, that's not what we needed in the role. It's showroom sales. Prospecting is nice. I mean, you can always prospect. But the fact is, you have to be able to build relationships, ask good questions. You have to be able to close. It's the construction industry. You have to be able to manage projects well. How many hunters do you know who do that well? I mean, to the extent that they do, they're CEOs of their own businesses, right? Very tough. The point is, we have got to define our A-player profiles. When I was in executive search before starting my firm 9 years ago, I placed CFOs, controllers, and accounting staff. That was my primary focus. I was dealing with a lot of fairly high-powered people early in my career. I was astonished at how the interview and hiring decisions were made. Because you know what it was? People racing from conference room to conference room, reading the resume on the way in, right? We all have done this. And then you grab some time with the other person who interviewed the person, and you ask that question. You know the question, right? So what'd you think of that guy? What'd you think of that guy? And I heard it over and over from high-powered people. Listen, what'd you think of that guy is not good enough. It's not good enough. When we have an A-player profile in place, we say, what do you think of that guy or that gal relative to these criteria that we know are tied to success in the job? I'm not talking about big, complicated HR stuff. I'm just talking about thought and preparation. But it's really important. It's really important if we're going to dial in and be able to discern who are the people who can perform for us and who are the people who can't. And where should we be looking for them in the first place?